Hello, this is Albert. I'm here recording Legacy Doomsday. Figured I'd commentate over the video because I did not catch this on stream, so here we are. We are on the draw here. Let's check out our opening hand. Alright, so seems okay. I have the Flooded Strand to fetch out a basic island, and I have plenty of cantrips. I guess an initial reaction would be to lead with Volcanic, so I could brainstorm fetching away anything unwanted with the Strand. But I think with our given hand here, all we're looking for is some fast mana and Doomsday itself. I think another notable thing about this hand is we can lead Swamp, Probe, Therapy if really need be. But since we are on the draw, we're going to go ahead and see what our opponent does and go from there. Alright, Forest into Deathrite Shaman. Probably Elves. I mean, he could be Shardless, Bug, but you know, it's not going to take us very much to find out what he's on. But I think in this instance, I'm just going to go ahead and assume he's on Elves. So I think since I do go ahead and probe him. I think in this matchup, what kills you is, I mean, there's barely any interaction really. Even less so than a Storm Mirror. I mean, at least in that one, your opponent's duressing back. But Green Sun Zenith isn't a huge problem. The problem cards to pay attention to are obviously Natural Order, as we see here, and Glimpse of Nature. I think Natural Order is a higher priority. Glimpse, in my experience, you know, since we are a little faster, they tend to cast Glimpse on a turn to really put out pressure. Natural Order, on the other hand, just kills us on the spot. So in this case, we do see that. Also, I don't remember what land I fetch or play here, so... Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. We're going to set up some future turns. The chances of him playing Natural Order the following turn are very slim, if not impossible. So I think I opt to just set up my draws and start looking for my combo pieces. Additionally, if I therapy in the next turn, that ensures that I nab a second Natural Order that he may have drawn. So there's no urgency there. Alright, sorry about that, but I think we put back a land and brainstorm in Rain of Filth. Sorry if I make any mistakes in predicting what I do, but I do believe I keep the Rain of Filth. The latter two cards, the Brainstorm and the land, are not as important right now, but I think that's okay, seeing as we have a Brainstorm and a fetch land. So we're going to go ahead and take the Ritual, and then proceed to look for either Burning Wish or Doomsday. So keep that on top. Obnoxious Shuffle, pass turn. He does Elves things. Now we have, I believe we have perfect information. So he's putting on a lot of pressure, and we still have to find that Doomsday. So you know, we've taken 2 life from our own probe. I think we're doing just fine. Oh, I think he gets a Visionary. I do indeed Brainstorm. Okay, so over here I find more black mana, 2 fetch lands, and a top. So a consideration here is to go ahead and Dark Ritual, or disregarding what we're putting back here. An initial thought would be to cast a Ritual, playing Therapy and top, we're ahead on mana because we already have the Rain of Filth. If we do find a Doomsday, then Rain of Filth is sufficient. And since we do have a Jataxian Probe, we could put an additional LED in our pile and combo off from there. So I put back a Rain of Filth and a land. I think in this instance I find the Rain to be redundant. I'm going to go ahead and I assume I'm going to fetch for an Underground Sea and Therapy his natural order away. Okay, Reclamation, Sage, and Quirion Ranger. So he's 4 power on the board. I'm not quite dead yet, but I've taken away his most threatening card, and we're just going to go ahead and pass turn. Unfortunately for us, he draws Glimpse for the turn, and he has plenty of mana and 2 creatures in hand, so that is 2 cards, and we're going to see what he does. So right here, it's kind of scary because, you know, 4 mana could very well be natural order. Unfortunately for us, it's just another Green Sun Zenith. So he just keeps going, and that's his last card. He's got no mana floating. He's gonna draw 2 cards, and all his creatures are tapped. So I take minimal damage this turn. Take 1. Okay. Now, all right. Sorry, video's going pretty fast. Draw Decay does nothing here, so fire off Brainstorm, desperately looking for a Doomsday as I'm facing, like, I think that's 9 power. So, none of these are very good. Luckily for us, we have Fetch Land and Ponder. I think we're going to tuck the Decay away into land and go from there. Sure enough, Island Decay, playing the Flooded Strand, fetching to refreshen the top cards of our library. We're going to cast Ponder here. It's tempting to keep the Lion's Eye Diamond since I don't have blue mana post Doomsday pile, but you know that does nothing, and I don't want to bank on pondering again. So I have to shuffle, and we are extremely lucky and find a Doomsday. Now from here, we can win. How do I explain this? Post Doomsday, you typically want 3 mana. You want blue, blue, and 1. So you could cast Ideas and Bound, and you usually draw 2 LEDs and a cantrip. So in this case, we don't have the blue mana available quite yet, but that's okay, because Doomsday itself is Vampiric Tutor times 5. So with the 2 Dark Rituals, we do have 5 mana available, meaning we could cast the Doomsday as well as our top. Top will be our cantrip into the pile, but we also have an additional Jataxian Probe. So what I do here is I stack from top to bottom LED, Ideas and Bound, 2 more LEDs and a Burning Wish. The plan being I'm going to probe into the first LED, cast it, and then break it for blue, and then draw with top, leaving my library with top, LED, LED, Burning Wish. So from there, using the blue mana, I'll cast the Ideas and Bound, drawing top, the 2 LEDs, and then from there, go into Burning Wish. So just gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, probe there, see nothing. Alright. Storm of 15, and then we're gonna move on to the next game. Okay, this sucks because I don't get to really show how I sideboarded. But in this matchup, like I explained earlier, there isn't really much interaction game 1, but game 2 we do see a lot more discard from their side. They cite in a number of therapies and Thoughtseize in another piece of um, another card that they use to interact with us is Null Rod. So I don't remember if I keep in any decays. Um, Generally, if they do play Null Rod, I think it's a one of, and with 3 Burning Wishes, I think it's fine to, kind of bank on just drawing that into a Void Snare. I mean, I'm not going to dedicate too many slots for his 1, maybe 2 of, and just side in decays. I think it's a waste, so as you can see, I lose this game. Sorry about the spoilers. Keep this hand. It's not very great. I see a lot of mana, top and ponder, and I'm really banking on having those go the distance. Having Duress is also great because that means we get to take the spell that kills us in this matchup, natural order. So there's that. It starts out with Deathrite Shaman. It's confusing as to why he would start with basic Forest. I think he does miss a few points of damage. I don't remember, but not having the black activation on Deathrite is kind of strange. So draw a second top, which isn't great. Generally, it's fine. Not because we're trying to avoid getting it destroyed, but rather there are instances where you do want multiple draws. Say you have like a number of LEDs and a Burning Wish, and yeah, it's situational, but okay. So I think he's gonna glimpse here and play a few creatures and kind of net 0 on cards in hand and put a few extra power on the board. So as far as how nutty that could be, it wasn't nearly as bad. So in that regard, we're fortunate. Just gonna ponder here, see absolutely nothing. That is 4 out of the 4 tops we play. So I'm gonna shuffle this away. Draw therapy, which isn't great. Believe. I don't remember what I do here. I think I duress. Sees glimpse, seeing 2 visionaries, which he could cast the following turn. So this therapy is useless to us if he does do that. Again, we have perfect information. Here we go. Elves doing elves things. And there's the needle. So he doesn't have Null Rod, but this really hurts. Seeing as we have 1 in hand, Therapy and Maniac as dead cards and 2 lands, we're not going very far. So no cards in hand, but he has plenty of power. We draw Dark Ritual for turn. I think I play Maniac here to set up a blocker, but he's got plenty of power, so I don't think that does much. Funny, he plays the Morph creature for extra power, but does not untap the Sentinel. It's, I think he still goes in. I don't remember. Yeah, he does. In fact, if he doesn't, it's all the better for us. So anyway, I take the damage, draw Doomsday, which, is still really solid. Now, I was doing the math in my head while I was playing. If I go Dark Ritual Doomsday, I still die to combat damage. And because the needle is on top, I have no way to um, cantrip into my pile, and so doing so would be meaningless. So I pass turn and proceed to get hit again by plenty of dudes. Block one guy. I minimized. Oh shoot! I minimized damage there. Um, I don't see myself like it could have been wrong. In fact, let's see. This is the first time watching through, so if I hadn't blocked, I would have gone to 7. Oh, no, I would have gone to 5. I'm sorry. And if I go to 5, when I cast Doomsday, I die to his Deathrite Shaman, so I think I had to do that. So, anyway, for our draw phase, we see Ideas Inbound, which we could go Dark Ritual Doomsday, Ideas Inbound into the pile. Unfortunately, in doing so, I would go to 3 life and would be unable to cast Probe as my cantrip. Additionally, I can't use my Delta because if I do, I will also die to Deathrite Shaman, regardless of when I do it. If I crack now, I'll go to 2 and die to Deathrite. If I crack after the Doomsday, I'll still go to 2 and die. So had the ritual been like a, I don't know actually. I'm not sure if the ritual were like a Rain of Filth, if that would make any difference. Um, but seeing that I can't do anything right now, I concede. And just, well, okay, I lie. I'm sorry. I'm gonna Ideas Inbound just for science, just to see what we get. There's an off chance, maybe Lotus Petal into Cantrip into, like the ideal draw would be LED, Lotus Petal, and like a Ponder or something. That would get us the victory. But alas, just a Probe Therapy top 3 useless cards, and we are dead. Again, more actions for science, but I just kind of like doing that just to see, what's going on with my deck. So on the play. Alright, so it's an okay hand. Having doubles of everything kind of hurts. If he does have a therapy, he goes to 6, so that makes leading with the therapy a little better. I do keep this. I think going turn 1 therapy to nab something is better than leaving up for Brainstorm in its own way. If he leads with Thoughtseize, then that will hurt. But I do believe I play the diamond. So here we are. I think I named Deathrite Shaman. And indeed, I do get one. I could rewind. Okay, Therapy, Deathrite Shaman, Visionary, Quarian Ranger, Thoughtseize, Foothills. So, he definitely gets my Doomsday here. So there's nothing we can do. At least we didn't whiff on the Shaman. So there's that. And we're going to play the diamond so we could keep at least some business. He's going to go in Thoughtseize. Alright, so since I do draw a land here, I'm not afraid to Brainstorm, especially since he has a therapy. If I draw a fetch land or something, that minimizes the damage from that. Plus, I could, if I tuck the Brainstorm and cast the therapy, he has nothing to take. So, we do indeed do that. Find another diamond in an Ideas Inbound, which is interesting. So Ideas Inbound is very much so like a combo turn kind of card, but there are instances where you could aggressively cast it as kind of like a dig, or just to find lands, find diamonds, find tops. And so it's not the worst scenario. Another thing that I could have lined up is if once I have Volcanic and Sea in play, I can line up my 2 diamonds and then cast Ideas Unbound, cracking the 2 diamonds and seeing what I get. Fairly weak. It's more of a move of desperation, but it's not the worst. I do believe I tucked the Brainstorm and a land. Brainstorm and Volcanic Island. I cast Diamond Swamp, or play the Swamp and then cast the Therapy or something like that. So, oh, I guess I put the Diamond back. Now, if he therapies, he would have to know that I kept an Ideas Unbound, and I'm not terribly worried about that. In fact, I did take his therapy, so that he only gets 1 shot, as opposed to 2, which could have been a mistake. If you notice, his hand was Therapy, Quirion Ranger, Elvish Visionary. So, had I named Ranger, that might have changed things. He would have only had 1 shot anyway, but I think it was the safer play. Additionally, Quirion Ranger does give him 2 mana, because he could untap anything and return the land and play it again. So, kind of uncomfortable, but again, we're not dead. If we're playing the discard war, at least he's not putting any pressure on you. So, yep. And he has 1 shot, so I think he names Brainstorm. He names Brainstorm, whiffs. And I go ahead and draw it for turn. Now that he has no discard spell and just 1 power, I'm just going to go ahead and pass. I think seeing 1 more card will strengthen the Ideas Unbound and the Brainstorm, so we say go. Proceeds to do more stuff, make more mana. Alright, so I mean, I guess against a creature deck, that would be pretty good, having the Symbiote and an additional source of mana. But all we care about is his clock, and it's not really doing much. To be honest, I don't remember what I do here. I think I Brainstorm. Oh, no. Okay, look at that. I guess I do just go straight into Ideas Unbound. What happens? Now, had I Brainstormed and found the Ideas Unbound, or the Doomsday rather, I could actually Brainstorm and then crack the Lion's Eye Diamonds and then cast Doomsday. So there's that. But I think in this in this scenario, I'm just gonna Brainstorm again, putting the Doomsday on top, and then cast the diamond, and then just discard my hand and call it a day, and just that protects me from discard. I'll be taking 3 next turn, and it's not comfortable at all. But he's got 1 card. He's only got 1 mana. We're just gonna. It's a visionary. His hand's a visionary, so that's gonna take up a lot of mana. But anyway, I'm gonna cast Brainstorm here. Don't remember what I draw. So cards that aren't very good really. I'm just gonna put back the Maniac, the Doomsday, cast the Diamond, and I think I Therapy away his Visionary. I hope I do at least. Okay, phew. Cast the Diamond, say go. Okay. He draws. I think he finds an Abrupt Decay, which is crazy relevant, but fortunately not detrimental to our plan. Blows up a Decay here. Or a Diamond, attacks for 3. I'm at 15, and here I'm just gonna, he has no cards, 1 mana, again, not much has changed. His clock is still 3 power, unless if he could somehow pull off a natural order the following turn, I think I'm fine. I'm just gonna cast Doomsday, set up a Maniac pile, and say go. Now, regarding sideboarding, I think I do recall putting in Infernal Contract. I do make a very poor pile. I put 1 one extra LED that I shouldn't have had. But let's see what I pick here, and hopefully I get paused in time. All right, so the plan is to just untap, draw the contract naturally, and then cast contract, holding priority, breaking the diamond for blue, and just casting all those spells. I should have made the Lion's Eye Diamond a Lotus Petal or a land, just so I can have an additional mana for whatever I need it for. But I don't think it matters. Just putting the contract on top and the 4 cards on bottom, it doesn't really matter. If he draws a surgical, then that really sucks, but gotta go down to 4, so not 1 life, which is important because contract makes me lose life rounded up. Plays a threat, which is great. I don't know. It eliminates any possibility of surgical or something weird, or it also means he didn't have like no rod or anything. But here we are. I'm gonna cast contract, breaking the diamond. I already have 3 blue, which is enough to cast the Maniac top with the 1 blue, and since he has no cards, we're just gonna kill him. And that is round 1.